Hi, everybody. This is Mari Coyle, and I am live today on our Friday Facebook happy hour. I'm really excited today to have Gregory Brown joining me from our cause entrepreneur community. Gregory is an amazing cause entrepreneur with a passion for the grill. And so today is all about grilling. I've got my grill right here. This is a gas-fired grill. And Gregory is in New York. So I'm in Sonoma County in wine country. Gregory, tell us where you're from.
I'm coming to you from New York City in Morningside/Harlem area of Manhattan.
Amazing. And what is this grill that you have here in your apartment?
Well, it's an amazing piece of machinery. So here in New York, we're not allowed to have grills on our balconies, or some rooftops are allowed to have them, but because of COVID, they've removed everything. And so I am in possession of a freestanding George Foreman grill. And there's something on the grill already that I have to give a little turn to. But it's awesome. It's it makes me giggle every time I see it.
This is so cool. I love this. Well, so what we did, community, is we had an audition for joining me on the grill, Girl on the Grill. And Gregory really impressed me because he's here in New York in his apartment, and he is still grilling, which is so fun for the season. And so I can't wait to have him share a little bit about his recipes. He also completely won my heart with his recipe ideas. He's got some really creative recipes to share with us today and how to grill those if you're in an apartment situation on his George Foreman that pair perfectly with our wine. So I'm going to kick off first with sharing about our Sauvignon Blanc. We are tasting today our Vintner collection Sauvignon Blanc from California, and this wine is so delicious for summer grilling, nice and cool, very chilled. There's a lot of really great citrus fruit components, a little bit of kind of almost lychee fruit. It's really bright and refreshing, quenching acidity, really balanced, beautiful wine. And Gregory, what do you have on the grill that pairs perfectly with this Sauvignon Blanc?
I have some fruit kabobs. These fruit kabobs are very easy to make. You just gotta get your assorted fruit. You can get pre-cut fruit from the store, and it's just a matter of soaking your skewers. And I got some wood ones here, courtesy of my downstairs neighbor, because I ran out. But you soak them in water for a good couple of hours, and then you just put the fruit on the skewer, and then you put it on the grill.
So you don't need any oil, no, nothing. It's just fruit on the skewer that's already been soaked and on the grill.
That is correct, Mari.
Oh my gosh.
In just a couple of minutes, you get it nice and warm. And you know, I mean, I'm not sure how the George Foreman works out, but when you're on a coal grill, gas grill, you probably get some nice grill lines. But you don't want to burn the fruit. You just want to get it nice and warm, because too hot fruit makes it a little difficult to eat. But I do have something to put on the fruit after I take off the kebab.
Amazing. So I can't wait to hear about this, because I have fruit kebabs and fresh fruit in a lot of my pairing suggestions that we create for our community. So I'm so glad that you can show us what that looks like. Tips and tricks out there, if you're not sure what fruit to add, take Gregory's suggestion today. And also you can take some of the tasting notes on the back of the bottle and use those fruit flavors too. So I wanted to do a real quick anatomy of a grill to take some of the possible intimidation of grilling out of the way for this big weekend, where you may find yourself wanting to grill for Father's Day. And I know that sometimes this thing as Tracy Manning put it in our community. She's like, what is this? So I thought this would be a fun time to do a little anatomy of the grill, quick run through. There's obviously lots of different types of grills. Charcoal is the one grill that we don't have today to show you. It is a little bit more complex. So I wouldn't consider charcoal as a beginner's grill. You've got to work on those briquettes and get them just right, and really monitor the temperature. It's definitely a craft, I would say. But I'm cheating here. I've got a gas grill. This is what works for me. I've got a little thermometer here, and I'm going to take what I'm going to share with you guys off real quick. But before I do that, I'm just going to kind of guide you through here. So we've got gas that's under here, and then we've got our ignition and our temperature gauges. We also have a temperature gauge here, and then of course the grill itself. Every grill is a little different, but this one actually will show me the temperature. So just like your oven settings, you can think about the temperature kind of how you would think of an oven and how that translates. So that's how you can go ahead and set your temperature. When you start thinking about this, just like any oven, only you're kind of on an open flame, then you can translate your recipes to really adjust to whatever it is that you want to grill. We've got 3 different options that we're going to show you guys today and why they pair so great with our ONEHOPE wines. So what do you have over there, Gregory? How's that fruit kebab coming along?
You know the smell of like berry cobbler, coming from your oven? That's how I know when, the cookies are done, when you can smell them. Same thing, I could smell the strawberries. So I pulled them off. They've only been on for about 5 minutes tops. But now what I'm going to do, I put the skewers on the bowl like this, and then I'm going to come in here with a lemon honey drizzle, which all you have to do is it's 1 lemon squeeze, fresh juice, and then a good spoonful of raw honey. And then you microwave it or heat it up for about a good minute. And then once the skewers come off, you just go across and just drizzle on top of it. And what's great having the bowl available is that all that excess will go into the bottom.
Ooh.
But I'm not done. A little garnish goes a long way, and something really refreshing for the summer is a little bit of mint, chopped mint, fresh mint on top.
Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering because with our Sauvignon Blanc, not only are we planting trees through sipping and doing good with our Vintner collection, Sauvignon Blanc, which is exclusive to our Cause Entrepreneur community, but we've got an amazing tasting profile that pairs with Gregory's fruit skewers. So guava, lemon, lime, all those flavors that he was just explaining. And we've got pairs well with, so we've got some pairing suggestions here too: oysters, lemon pie, summertime. I think it's summertime, isn't it? And flip-flops, which are perfect for this weekend. So great idea for you guys as you're grilling this weekend and pairing our wines. So Gregory, I know you've got something you're gonna throw on the grill, and while you do that, I'm gonna show everybody what I wanted to demonstrate real quick. You've got your, what are those?
I've got some lamb chops, but I'll let you go and I'll talk about that later. But I'm getting him on.
All right, he's gonna get his on. So you guys, I'm doing grilled pizzas today. And one reason I wanted to do it is because when I first started thinking about grilled pizzas, the grill is kind of my kitchen apprentice because no dishes, right? Like for a mom, 2 boys, and busy working all the time, I definitely like to use the grill and be outside and no dishes. So when I first started thinking about this idea of grilled pizza, I thought, oh, that sounds so messy. I imagined the pizza dough like seeping through the grill and just this huge mess, and how much flour would I need and everything. So I wanted to actually show you guys and share my favorite pizza recipe that I'm going to be making for my husband, father of my sons, this weekend. So First of all, I made some pizza dough. You can find a lot of recipes out there, but I like to make my own. A lot of times I like to use wine yeast that's left over after harvest. And so I add the water, a little bit of sugar, a sweetener, and then I add the yeast, stir that up really well, add flour, and let that sit for about an hour. So I did that today, and then I rolled this out. I like these kind of organic shapes that aren't super perfect. So sometimes I end up having an Blanc shape. Sometimes I end up having more of a circle, but here it is. And I used whole wheat dough, so you can, or flour, so you can use different flours. But the key here is, and I'm going to show you this as well, while Gregory shares a little bit more about his experience at ONEHOPE. But what I did is I put it on, I rolled it out and I put it directly on the grill. So again, just like Gregory said, you don't need oil, you don't need extra flour, you don't need anything. Once your grill is hot, so I usually turn it on, I have my grill on high, and once I know that those grill bars are really hot, I turn it back down to half or maybe even a quarter of heat. So I've got a temperature of about 400 degrees. And I just put the dough right on top and I grill one side. And once I have this side grilled like this, it's got these nice little grill marks and it's just perfect and ready to go. Then I turn it over so I can grill the second side. And that's when I put my toppings on. At this point, I turn my grill down so that I don't overdo and so that I can melt the cheese and leave it in there until it's just perfect. So I'm going to demo that. And Gregory, I wanted you to share a little bit with me as I pour some Cabernet, our Vintner Cabernet, about your experience in the ONEHOPE community and how long have you been in our community?
So I was introduced to ONEHOPE 6 months ago. I went to a tasting at my best friend's house and just helping set up and hearing that these wines are giving back to charitable causes. I'm like, that's pierced my heart. Like that's my calling. It's love languages are acts of service and quality of time. And I've been very blessed to travel the world and give back to NGOs, teaching at-risk youth, helping them integrate back into educational platforms in Africa and throughout the country. In my career, but I just got to this tasting and I was like, I love wine and I love wine that gives back. So immediately I was—
Me too.
I was sold. This was something that my roommates and my neighbors, we wanted to congregate, do something. And so 2 weeks later from this event, let me just, for the record, the first time I tasted the red blend, I was so in, okay? That red blend is amazing. And then I'm discovering that all the other ones are amazing as well. So 2 weeks later, I hosted an event with my wine mama mentor, Allison, and it was such a success, but at that time period, I was busy performing around the country and I was on and off television and film sets here in New York. And I was meeting agents, I was getting auditions and screen tests and things were really looking amazing for me at that time. But when COVID hit, I just got stuck at home, quarantined, and I'm like, my heart wants to give back. And then my wine mama mentor, Allison, she reached out and said, hey, you want to join this virtual party with us and get in? Come on. You can get some wine out of this. And I'm like, yeah. So back in May, I started the company as a cause entrepreneur, and I'm only a month and a half in. And all I can say is I am just mind blown and heart filled with the amount of encouraging enthusiasm, the inspiration that's coming from our entire team, and the fact that we are giving back all over the world is just, it's heaven. It's a treasure in my heart, and I'm just honored and privileged to be a part of this family. And so cheers to you guys, to all of you. And to our future CEs, cheers to you as well.
Cheers.
We all have a story to share, and we can't do this alone. It takes a village, and we have an extraordinary village with ONEHOPE Wine.
That is awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing your experience. You know, I saw you pop up in the community, and we became instant friends, commenting back and forth. And I was so excited to have the opportunity to hang out with you on this Friday and share some recipes and some wine. That's what all this is about, is sharing wine and giving hope. And it's for everybody. There's a spot in our community for everybody out there. And I hope that you guys will join us. We're having a lot of fun and making a huge impact on the world. So I know that Greg is working on his lamb chops, and he's going to give us some tips. I wanted to go through some tasting notes on our Cabernet. This is our Vintner collection, Cabernet Sauvignon. It is a delicious cab. It's one of our best sellers. No surprise there. Cab is king in California. And this is just a delicious wine that I love enjoying outdoors. I actually would probably love it with what Greg is cooking, because I know what he's cooking. Those lamb chops sound amazing, and I love cab and lamb. What I've got going on here with this wine is this is a lot of really pretty and intense fruit. So there's a lot of beautiful dark cherry, even a touch of blackberry that I'm picking up in this wine. And then I love the winemaker's spice rack, just that sprinkled spice component, a little bit of allspice, almost some graham cracker, a note of vanilla on top. It's very, very layered and intense, and really speaks to the quality of wines that we produce out of Napa Valley, which is where our flagship property is located in Rutherford. So I love this wine. I love to share it with everybody. What I'm pairing with it today is what I call my boy pizza. So boy mom, making this for my husband. I know I can't go wrong with this pizza. What I did on that other side of the pizza dough that you guys saw is I put some barbecue sauce. So instead of pizza sauce, I actually subbed out barbecue sauce. And then I like to put some caramelized onion. Take a note that with the barbecued pizza, you should always cook your ingredients first. Don't rely on them to cook on the grill, because you're getting most of the heat from the bottom. And so you want any of your toppings that need to be cooked prior. So I caramelize those. And then I add some chicken, and then I add some cheese. I've got a little bit of mozzarella and a little bit of cheddar, and I am kind of cheating because I just got like the vegan cheese today, so we'll see if anybody notices. But it looks like it's melting great, and it's also crisping up that bottom side. So I'm gonna have some perfect grill marks, and I'm gonna have a really crispy thin crust. So over to you, Greg. How's your meat coming on there? The lamb chop.
Flip, and we got still probably about another 3.5 more minutes on that side. So yeah, I chose lamb chops. Lamb is my favorite. I like to eat in general, but I do love a good lamb. What's great about lamb is, and no judgment to those that like mint jelly, it's its thing, but I do love fresh herbs. And so for what I did, and what I've learned from my dad, who's an expert on the grill, I'm no expert, but I try to be. I have here on our ONEHOPE clipboard, which I thought was a cheese board when I first got it, but it can be a cheese board, it can be an herb board, whatever you want. We don't take ourselves too seriously, right?
That's right. We take our wine seriously, but not ourselves too serious.
That's right. But here I prepared a rub of thyme, rosemary, and garlic, and then a little bit of salt and pepper and some olive oil. I actually marinated the chops in the fridge for at least over 1 hour. The longer you marinate, the longer the flavor gets absorbed in the meat. That's it. That's all you have to do. Check on those. Yep, we can get in there. Depending on how you prefer your meat, whether you like it well done or medium rare or medium. I like a good medium meat. You just gotta, again, I'm no expert, but there's plenty of information out there to tell you how much time it takes on each side. So a good 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the level of heat that you have on your grill. Because I'm on a George Foreman, I decided to go on a medium heat because I'm also indoors. But
you don't want to crank that puppy up.
I'm estimating a good 5 minutes on each side, and we're coming up to the near end. So I'm gonna shut my grill off and
awesome.
let the rest do the work.
This is so fun, you guys. I seriously was so excited to hang out with Gregory today and just get to know him a little bit better. And it's like we're 3 hours apart in time zone and on the opposite sides of the country, yet we're sharing wine, sharing recipes, having a great time, and giving hope and through every sip and every bottle that we make. So it's really exciting. This is so much fun, Greg. So I was thinking about like how fun our community is, and I wanted to mention our $29 join special. That is an amazing part of this month, where for $29 you can invest in yourself and order your business supplies and join our community alongside Greg and our whole entire home office team. We have a lot of wine education. We have great business development, great mentors like Allison. She's such a great mentor for you. And I know you guys have a really special connection. And you get to meet amazing friends. That's another amazing part of our community, is you kind of find your wine besties, if you will. So I love that. What do you think, Greg, if you were thinking about joining, or what went through your mind? What kind of advice do you have out there for anybody who's thinking that they might want to do this wine gig?
Ooh, good question. For me, I was immediately sold on giving back, making an impact. I thought about the amount of money that I've spent for a long time enjoying wine, and I realized how much I could have been giving back, and I didn't. But now that I'm invested with ONEHOPE, it's a win for everybody, not just you as a consumer of wine, or it's you as a consumer, you're learning about wine. Like I learned something about wine by watching videos about wine. Like I started YouTubing stuff and watching wine documentaries, and I didn't know things like New World wines, they had the variety on the label, as opposed to Old World wines, they don't. And I didn't know Symphony was an actual grape. So you're learning, it's a huge learning curve. And I'm all about continuing the learning process, because every day that we live and breathe is a chance for us to absorb and give back. And that's why I joined. But to further that advice, like, yes, you can make an income. Yes, you're going to build up your community. You're going to find friends that you never knew existed. And suddenly they're on your side, helping you achieve goals and giving you all that encouragement. And suddenly you're meeting strangers that you never met. Like, oh, I love wine. You're coming to parties, you're coming to events, it's doing good business, right? And you're sharing the good message. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Gregory. I really love having you on here. It's so much fun. And I am going to show you, I bet your lamb chops are just about ready. I'm going to show you guys my little pizza here that you can see. My cheese takes a little longer to melt because it's the vegan cheese. It just doesn't always melt as well, but I like it. So don't tell anybody. So I'm going to pull this off and show you guys my little pizza here. You can see that the underside also now has the grill marks, and the upper side, it's really crispy and delicious. You can do a thin crust or a thicker crust, whatever you love. Super easy, no mess, no dishes, and dinner is served. Voila. Wow, look at that. That looks great. Now, would you call that medium? Do you think you cook those medium, or is it or medium rare maybe? I like lamb. I love lamb.
I think I got a really good medium on this one for sure. As I check the inside, what's great about lamb chops? It's a small piece of meat and it's bone, and I love it because it's like a lollipop in a way. Like it's great on the grill outdoors. You could just get yourself a napkin and go. You feel like you're at the county fair with the turkey leg, but you got lamb. It's different.
Yeah, I love the lamb. I love the flavors that you built with your marinade. I love rosemary and cab. So I'm with you. I love fresh herbs. And I think fresh herbs can make a pairing no matter what you're putting it on. So I think you did a great job with layering those herbs. And rosemary and Cabernet is one of my favorite combinations. This cab actually gives back to help fund ABA therapy for children with autism. And I didn't know much about ABA therapy before joining ONEHOPE. I'm constantly learning about new causes that need awareness and need support. And this is one that I'm just so proud of, that our founders and ONEHOPE has been able to help fund ABA therapy for children with autism.
I have a question for you, Mari.
Uh-oh.
For the wine
Okay.
expert.
All right. Talking to.
So I've been to a few tastings, and I'm curious to pick your brain. When you're tasting a wine coming from one of our from our cellar, what goes through your mind or your palate that suggests certain things, certain tasting notes? I'm curious.
Yeah, that is a great question. So for me, I think what goes through my mind is based on my experience with the wine, and also my experiences that are unrelated to wine. So a lot of times, you know, what I'm smelling, for instance, might be something that I remember from being a kid. Or sometimes I'll smell something that reminds me of being in a garden. Or maybe it's being in my grandfather's cellar with cigars. Maybe it's those baking spices that my mom used around the holidays. So those are kind of things that, you know, scent is really powerful, and our scent memory is really, really powerful part of our senses. And so those are things that trigger me, is like remembering something and where I last smelled that, and then I go back to that memory and connection. When I'm tasting, I'm typically tasting for balance and texture. When I taste our ONEHOPE wines, one thing I love is that they're very balanced with acidity and tannin and flavor and density, richness and intensity of the fruit, and also the layers of structure from the oak aging process that we do here in Napa. So I'm tasting for that. And then I'm also always kind of checking in on our wines to see how they're evolving, because wine is a living and breathing product. It's always changing. It changes in the bottle, and one day I'll notice one thing about the wine and the next day I'll notice something else. So I have a lot of things that go through my mind when I'm tasting. But yeah, it's a lot of different things and a lot of different pieces. And I encourage everybody to, you know, take their time with wines, to appreciate them, to really, you know, stick your nose in there, you know, swirl, sniff, stick your nose in there. Right now, I'm getting a lot of that really, really pretty spice that pairs perfectly with barbecue, and off this Cabernet, and also that deep, dense, really rich, ripe fruit that reminds me of Cabernet in Napa Valley, where the world-renowned Cabernet is grown. And when I sip this wine, I I think about my family and my friends, and the textures and layers make it a really special wine to share.
Thank you. It's nice to be connected to an expert of wine.
Yeah. Well, our whole community is connected. We have Psalms on our team, winemaking, and of course, each other. Part of learning about wine is talking about it with your friends and your family, and our community is always talking about wine. And like you said, always learning something new, because it is a journey. And I'll be the first one to say you can never know everything about wine. So, well, Gregory, I hope you enjoy those lamb chops. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Your audition was amazing for the grill. And I was really happy to share 2 different techniques from across the nation together and share our ONEHOPE wines and give hope.
Thank you, Mari. It's a pleasure to share life with you, share wine with you, and with all of those that are in earshot of us right now. Just want to say thank you for being part of this family. Those of you that are thinking about being a part of this family, I'm eager to meet you, and cheers with you. So thank you so much.
Cheers to ONEHOPE.